and welcome to All Things Career Services with TNT. I'm Dr. Tracy Spots.
And I'm Tatyana Gause.
And we got a good one for you today, folks. We've got Hunter Chandler here from BCTC. Hunter, what is it you do here?
Hey everyone, my name is Hunter Chandler. I am the coordinator for math and statistics. I'm also the coordinator for first year experience. And my primary role at the institution is an assistant professor of math and statistics.
Math and statistics. Woo, you won't catch me teaching one of those classes. Woo, goodness. All right. So we're just going to jump in and get started. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about your role and how you support students, especially those in their first year?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll focus on my coordinator of first year experience role because that one is particular to the first year experience. So as the coordinator at FYE, I support the FYE courses, which are courses designed to help students understand best practices of being the greatest college student they can possibly be, and including some other skill sets that they may not realize they need throughout college, such as like financial management, career services like you all, and some other like note-taking skills and academic skills that are going to be helpful throughout their career. And that is all under the area of student success and retention, who is also over like our tutoring services, retention, and like Spotlight series, which I'm sure I'll talk about a few times throughout.
Awesome. Why do you think so many students feel discouraged or embarrassed after a tough semester?
I think it comes down to like the worst feeling is probably disappointment. That's probably somebody can say that they're mad at you or that they're upset with you, but that doesn't hit as hard as someone saying that I'm disappointed in you. And that feeling also transcends to the self. So when you say I'm disappointed in myself, that also hurts just as much as you saying like I'm mad at myself or something. So I think that a lot of students feel really discouraged by like their challenges they're experiencing throughout the semester because they're so focused on not disappointing anyone. I think that we live in a very performative society where we're always on and we're never off. Whenever I talk to the student who's a mom at home and a caretaker, she's taking care of her kids. She's also going to school. She's being a wife. She is being the caretaker of her parents. All of those things are moments of where she has to perform and she has to like not fail, right? So it just becomes very performative. And how do we like say, okay, sometimes our performance is not going to be the best. How do we recover from that?
Okay, cool.
When students hear the word failure, what do you think they usually imagine and how should they really be thinking about it?
Yeah, failure, it's such a strong experience in our lives. I think that everyone sees it a little differently. How I think that students should see it is an opportunity to learn. When I look at failure, I look at it as like data or evidence to suggest that I need to refocus and do something different for the next opportunity that I have to complete it. This also comes from like my math and stats mind because I think of like experiments, right? Everything that I do is basically an action or experiment that's a vote toward the goal that I want. And whenever I fail at something, which I mean happens, your professors, you all sitting here today, there are times where you fail in your life, and it's all evidence to suggest that a different path needs to be taken. And if they can jump on that philosophy, then they're going to suit themselves better for success in the future.
Can you share an example of how a setback can turn into growth or a turning point for a student?
Yeah, I talk to so many students every single semester who have these challenges where they have this significant setback and then they come back really strong. And it's because they've changed that setback mindset that I failed, I can't do this, to more resilience, and they've moved forward with their goal and said, okay, I'm going to change what I've done, I'm going to incorporate better practices. And I hear that all the time, that like the idea of resilience within education is that they don't take the failure as an answer and they take it as action, and then they can move forward with it.
Very good.
What are some signs that a student is being too hard on themselves?
Oh, I think that we can all agree that negative self-talk is one of the biggest signs that we can see in students and ourselves, that they're being really hard on themselves, and also like catastrophizing a situation. So I hear a lot of students who maybe have failed an exam or failed just an assignment, and like me saying just an assignment or just an exam kind of minimizes it for them, and they then will catastrophize it and say, I'm going to fail the whole semester. That's a really big like early alert sign that, oh, this is not going to go well, because the student needs to reframe that this is an opportunity for them to change. And then like you have to be kind to yourself. Like if you're going to blame yourself for your failure rather than looking at the different things that you can do in the future, then you're just going to set yourself up for like this habit of negative self-talk, and you don't want to like create this habit that's just going to end up hurting you every step of the way and breaks down your resiliency and then breaks down the path that you want toward your goal.
If a student had a rough semester, what are the first 2 to 3 things they should do to reset and move forward?
First, I think that they need to like own the emotion. I mean, it is really heavy stuff to have setbacks, have a failure in the semester, and then come back from that. So really understanding that it's going to be okay and that there's another opportunity. The best thing about college is that the class will be there again next semester. You can always come back to it. And then the second thing is they need to either take first year experience or return back to some of their first year experience course principles, where they learn some of those best practices like study skills, note taking, preparing for an exam before, during, and even after. That helps them. And then also realizing that like a path toward success requires failures in between. A linear path is not necessarily going to happen for most people. So we have to get in the mindset that every single time that we don't meet the goal that we want, whether it's the short-term goal in the middle of the semester for quizzes, exams, whatever, if we don't meet those goals, that's still some evidence that I need to reconfigure and say, all right, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z a little bit better, and I'm going to like stand back and review.
Perfect. How can students use reflection instead of blaming when things don't go as planned?
Yeah. Every time I think about like reflection and failure, I think about like basketball and how my dad used to be like, you got to follow your shot. I would shoot the ball and I would just be like, look how pretty that shot is. And I would miss the shot and I wouldn't go in for the rebound. So like how you rebound is important. And I think a lot of students are just sitting back thinking that shot is really pretty. And not just students, like a lot of people. Because we don't know that we're failing until we're on the downward trajectory, right? Everything that we're seeing is just up, and then it's coming down. And it's like that's when we start realizing, oh, something's happening. And students, a lot of folks just need to, go in for the rebound. They have to follow up with their failures so that they can be successful for the future.
What campus resources are available for students who are struggling or feeling stuck?
Oh my gosh, we have so many campus resources at BCTC. It's like one of my favorite things to talk about because we're really like blessed to have so many of these good resources. So tutoring is one of them. Our tutoring center is at the Newtown Campus Library, but we also offer those tutoring services online. Don't wait, right? Whenever you feel like you're failing at something, then just jump into the tutoring services. Even if you feel like you're doing well, you can also see a tutor and they can, reassure you that, yeah, your line of thinking is doing really well. Another one is that we have Spotlight Series. For FYE, we have 3 tracks for FYE. The first track is our Academic Success track, which covers study skills, time management, etc. We also have our Career Services track, which you all do here, that covers all things career services, resume building, cover letters, etc. And then we have our Counseling Services track too. And that one is our most attended because everyone realizes that a little bit of understanding of how their mental health works is really important, and it's really a fine tune to their success path. Is that if I can understand how to be resilient and how to jump forward when I've been pushed back, then I can do a little bit better throughout the semester. And then, of course, like being engaged in campus, on campus is so important. We have our student organizations, we have intramural sports. Research has suggested that when students are engaged, then the setbacks that do occur aren't as hard on them, and they can recover a lot faster. And students are struggling a little bit to have those social times in their lives. And I think about, as a 30-year-old adult myself, like the socialization that you have as an adult is so limited other than things that you do at work. Well, this is your opportunity to learn how to be a social adult, how to gain friends, how to experiment with friendships. And like being engaged as a student is the perfect opportunity to do that. And it's also going to help you with your success path at BCTC.
Perfect. Why do you think students sometimes hesitate to ask for help, and how can they take the first step anyway?
Yeah, that's, I used to think, I'm from West Virginia, and I used to think that like not asking for help is like a very Appalachian culture. Moved to Lexington and realized that, this thing of like not asking for help is like almost nationwide, it seems. Like everyone seems to not want to ask for help. I think that like two things is that they don't want to appear that they don't know. And I think that when you see yourself as not like someone who doesn't know, then you're a learner, right? A learner doesn't know until it has been learned, and then they become somebody who knows. And then I think like the second thing for somebody who is afraid to ask for help is they don't know where to go. They don't know how to ask the question. Right, I see this often in like my math classes that I teach. Students don't know how to form the questions. They don't know how to ask for help even. Like the simple question of like, I need help is intimidating, and they don't know how to navigate the space of asking the question.
All right, last question. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, you're doing great. What's one message you want every student to hear if they're coming off a tough semester?
Okay, that is a good question. I want students to understand that every failure or every setback or every challenge that they have is overcomable. It's something that you can return to and redo. Nobody here is doing heart surgery right now. They might do heart surgery in the future. They're not flying a plane. These are all like big things where basic failures or like intelligent failures, which are like more, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try it. And basic failures are like procedural failures. I just forgot to do something. These are nobody's doing like a life or death failure here, and you can always recover from it. BCTC will always be here, right? We're always going to offer that class that you might have failed. If we're not offering it at BCTC, we'll find another solution, or your advisor will work with you to, change up your learning path and your program. And sometimes it's very easy to take a break from the class if that you failed, and come back another semester, and maybe not right after, which I see a lot of students doing is they're not taking that failed class immediately after because the emotions just haven't set in. So big message is you can always come back. And it's going to be a challenge because there are several things that you have to reflect on. But as you reflect on those things, bringing in some of those best practices and studying, time management, note-taking skills, and being involved on campus is how you can come back. And you also need to understand that our college has a extremely wide support system that you can always go and talk to somebody about how you can jump back into college or into a specific class, starting from the professor in the course all the way up until, we have our assistant deans and associate deans who are able to help. We have counseling services. We have tutoring. Whatever the case may be, the network of support is so wide, and you should use it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. That was awesome.
Thank you all so much for having me. It's been a joy.
All right, we'll be back in the next couple of weeks with another episode of All Things Career Services. Thank you and be well.